Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spodcast. I'm Joe, and with me are Charles, Alice, and the newest member to our team, Mr. Tom. Tom is going to be introducing us to his favourite series. Then we're going to be talking about the trailers which came out recently for Hotel Transylvania and The Rise of the Guardians. And then we're going to be talking about two series which we failed to mention last week. Barbie Life in Dream House, and the Motorcity as well. And then we're going to be moving on to any other business if we have time. So I think we're all set up for recording. So does everybody want to say hi quickly?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so Tom, do you want to start off with the? Do you want to start off with your favourite series of the past? The sort of favourite series section.
Yep, no problem. Right, so my favourite cartoon series of the last 5 years, I've gone with Stormhawks, which I know it's not particularly revolutionary, but I've enjoyed the art style and found it quite an enjoyable one to watch. Favourite series of the last decade was Avatar: The Last Airbender, because it was just like massive game changer in the whole of all the cartoon series that you see at the moment. Favourite cartoon series of the decade is Danger Mouse, because I enjoyed it as a kid. I enjoy it more as an adult because you actually get the jokes now. Favourite animated movie? Coraline. I enjoyed it as... So I like the whole animation style. I love Neil Gaiman, and I just love the whole kind of dark, sinister bit side of it, which kind of wasn't entirely present the whole time, but you just feel it niggling at the back. Favourite episode is from Teen Titans, and it's Switched, which is in the first series, I think, about episode 17, 16, something like that. And it's basically them having to learn how to deal with each other's powers and how it's not as simple as it looks to begin with. Favourite short? Can't believe none of you have mentioned these. Wallace and Gromit, The Wrong Trousers.
I feel like a really bad British person.
Yeah, I do too now.
I stick by my choice if I'm honest.
Can I change mine?
No.
Well, I can change if I want. You're not the boss of me. Except you are the boss of me, but that's besides the point.
Anyway, we're interrupting Tom.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't feel I need to justify Wallace and Gromit, it explains itself.
Okay.
Mewling Kitten Award. This is a series which I don't know how many people actually know about it, but it's one on Disney Channel. Dave the Barbarian.
I've heard
seen
of that, yeah.
Yeah. I just like the complete reversal of roles in a lot of it, with this pathetic hero and all the others. It's just a generally funny series. Cosmic Retcon Award. I think I'm probably going to have... I've picked two for this, and both of them are animes, and I feel I'm going to get cries of hate from Alice for one of them. The first one is Gunbuster 2, which was dreadful, had no coherent internal physics, and I just hated it. The second one is Loveless.
No,
Well,
I admit Loveless anime
blame-
is bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Just the whole kind of feeling is all the way through with paedophile.
Yeah.
The Loveless manga is actually amazing, and actually, like, you know, you feel uncomfortable with the massive age discrepancy because you're supposed to in the manga. It's really played up as a kind of, this is fucked up. This whole universe is fucked up. But the anime just went, screw all the subtleties and thoughtfulness. Let's just have catboys snogging.
Yeah. Series I'd most like to be made, Runaways, which I love. That's one of the first kind of comic series I've read in full of the Western ones, and I'd love to see it made. A lot of interesting characters in it. Yeah. As far as original ideas go, I personally I'm not a story writer or anything like that, so I don't actually tend to come up with that many of my original ideas. But I'd really like to see is like more classic sci-fi, because at the moment what you see of sci-fi is mostly we'll set it in space and that'll make it sci-fi. That's not sci-fi.
Okay.
It's like the old classic sci-fi is like you take the universe as it is now and you change one small detail and see how everything unfolds from that, how people react to it. It's things like the old ones like the Time Machine, which is that H.G. Wells?
Yeah, it's H.G. Wells, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the good one at the moment it's come out, which is the Terry Pratchett one with the Loveless, where they've taken one small detail, changed it. It's like where you can skip to the parallel worlds, but just on the Earth, and see how that unfolds around.
Okay. So, Tom, that's your favourites sorted then. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, not particularly.
Okay, cool. So we could start getting on with the trailers. What do people want to discuss first? Hotel Transylvania or Rise of the Guardians?
Shall we get Hotel Transylvania out of the way first, because I think there is a little more excitement for Rise of the Guardians.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So what do people think of it from the trailer?
Let Tom go first, because he's the guest.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Generally, I thought it looked good. It's like an interesting take on the old characters. So my initial thought was Adam Sandler, meh. I'm not a huge fan of him, and most of the things he's been tend to be rather crap.
Okay. Alice, would you like to go next?
I think it could be a good film. At least I think it should be good for its age group, which looks to be, children, possibly aged between about 8 and 12. So I think it'll definitely appeal to that age group. I'm going to be disposable here and say it's not the most original of ideas.
No, of course not.
Undead monsters and the other side to them. One thing that annoyed me is if you look on the trailer on YouTube and then read the plot summary underneath, it mentions that the plot all hinges on Dracula's daughter's 118th birthday. Why is
he has a daughter? He has a daughter?
Yeah, apparently the plot is that all the monsters go to his castle to celebrate his daughter's birthday, and then a human boy turns up, and guess what? His daughter happens to fall for the human boy.
Oh, God.
dear God.
Why was she not in the trailer then?
No, I thought it was just a weird, kooky scenario of this kid going around a monster hotel and being oblivious to everything around him. This plot just suddenly got boring.
I'm just trying to think. Wasn't there also an animated series which was basically same sort of concept as Hotel Transylvania, a sort of ghosts and sort of ghouls sort of going around and in a hotel and something like that, and then have a new sort of guest each week or something.
It sounds familiar, but it's not really ringing any bells. I've seen Dracula and Frankenstein in the same room so many times I really can't tell them apart anymore.
I don't remember if it's an animated series. I know there was the famous live-action series, The Munsters.
Oh, yeah.
About
that.
Yeah.
Could be
I
done.
love that.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the Addams Family, which plays similar kind of tropes, so very darkly.
Yeah. So, Charles, is there anything you want to add? Because there's one particular thing which I want to get on to, and that's who's directing the movie.
Okay. I like satire of all the classic monsters, so whenever they're put together, whether the plot is stupid or not, I'm enjoying every second of it. I'm the type of person that enjoyed Van Helsing. I'm going to be happy with it either way.
Fair enough. Yeah. One of the things which I've noticed is it's done by Gendy Tartakovsky, which I'm probably mispronouncing massively. But he was the guy who did Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, a series which I should have put down as my the series that needs more love, which is Symbiotic Titan, which is one of the series which I utterly recommend. And he's mainly been working in animation. This is going to be his first big break into the sort of silver screen sort of thing. So
hopefully he'll be very funny then.
Yeah, hopefully so. Though I am a little bit worried about the sort of whole Adam Sandler aspect at the moment. That was one of the names which I just looked at it and was just like, ah.
Then again, I have that reaction to Will Ferrell, and he was amazing in Megamind. Is it Will Ferrell in Megamind? It was one of those actors.
Yeah,
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I just
another
thought that
character
was funny.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see see it. Oh, by the way, Alice, the daughter of the name of Dracula's daughter is Mavis, and she's being played by Selena Gomez in the movie.
Selena Gomez, that new Disney tweenie
Not
pop star
that new.
person.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really kept up with sort of.
Me neither. I'm
Yeah,
googling her.
She's one of the Disney ones, but she's the previous generation, not the current generation of ones.
Oh, I see.
She's sort of the same sort of era as Emma Stone, isn't she?
No, I think she's the one. She's the one after Hilary Duff, I think.
Okay, all right.
Like Hilary Duff is like married.
Oh God, now we feel.
I
Now
know,
I feel old.
she's got kids now.
Jesus.
Now I feel very old.
That's not allowed. She's God, no. Stop it, Hilary Duff. Stop having a happy, fulfilling life.
Anyway, yes. So that's Hotel Transylvania. General thoughts from everyone. Sort of looks okay. Could be quite interesting, but nothing particularly special. Is that right?
It looked like
I
it would
think the same for
definitely
your
keep.
audience.
Yeah, it would definitely keep the kids quiet for an afternoon. If you like Hilary Duff, have some.
Will keep me quiet for an afternoon.
Okay, so the next movie we're going to be moving on to is The Rise of the Guardians. And that's the sound barrier broken, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Yes, so should we start again with Tom? What are your thoughts on that movie then?
Well, this is one of the only ones I've seen before. I've been following the trailers for a while, and it looks fantastic. It's from the makers of How to Train Your Dragon. It's got Toro Del Guillermo, which I'm butchering the name of there, who everything he does is really, really fantastic with the artwork and design. And the cast of main ones is fantastic as well. With I don't know Spine, but you got Alec Baldwin, Isla Fisher, and Hugh Jackman as big names in it. So
yeah. Also, the villain's played by Jude Law as well, which I was a little bit amazed by.
John Watson is epic. He's gonna be playing Pitch. It's gonna be brilliant somehow.
Honestly, when I listened to the trailers, I thought it was Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the character looks so Loki-like. I was just sitting there going, Hiddles.
Hiddleston does whatever villain's done. Anyway, Alice, what are your thoughts on the trailers? From the trailer?
To be honest, I too am looking forward to it. I am definitely going to see this when it comes out in cinema. Probably not opening night because I usually can't be bothered. But I definitely think this one will be worth a look. I'm really interested in folklore and stuff like that, and I absolutely love how this had gone back to the roots of its characters. With Santa Claus is Russian because yes, he is. And I'm not sure. I always thought the Easter Bunny was an American invention, but I guess it could be Australian. But it makes sense that it works. Hugh Jackman's voicing him because Hugh Jackman. The only niggle is that I think the Tooth Fairy would be English. I think she's English. Fairies are usually English. But I love the designs. The designs are wonderful.
Yeah. It all looks very interesting. Charles, your opinions on it?
I'm sorry, is anyone else hearing that music?
Which one?
I'm sorry, is anyone else hearing music at the moment?
Don't think so.
No.
What is the music saying?
My computer's gone psycho on me now.
Kill your family. Kill your family.
Sorry. Wait, it's gone now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Kill your family.
Red rum.
Anyway, Charles, what are you?
Sorry that it was so loud. I completely blanked out your entire conversation.
Anyway, Charles, your opinions of Rise of the Guardians, then?
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm going to repeat what anyone else said, since again I couldn't hear you, but it all looks brilliant. I love their version of Santa Claus, and I loved his whole Bulgarian accent. She's very, very beautiful. I love her. Sandman, very creative. Easter Bunny, wonderful. When I saw the second trailer and knew that Jack Frost was going to be in it, I'm not really too sure about him yet, but I'm not going to hold any judgment on him.
Actually, one of the characters which I really, I'm also really looking forward to the series, but I'm also sort of a little bit, I don't know, sad because of the fact in the original books, one of the big characters was the character of Mother Goose, and I think that would have been quite interesting to have involved.
You should set up at the end. I didn't know it was based on the book.
Yeah, it was. It's Guardians of Childhood by William Joyce.
If I could get a bit sidetracked here, could I talk about a... Okay, please tell me someone else can hear that.
What?
Again, I'm hearing random music and there's music on! Am I really the only one hearing it?
Have you checked your browser? Has that thing happened where you open a site and there's music playing?
No,
Have
now
you
it's
had
starting
your
to sound
house
like
exercised?
trailer music.
Have you had your house exercised recently?
So, I think you...
Yes, my one niggle with the movie, because again, I'm all into folklore and fairy tales and stuff like that. Sandman is not really a nice character originally. In the Hoffman story from which he originates, what he does is he rubs sand into the eyes of children that are still awake until their eyes come out. So I'm a bit about him as a adorable, cutesy hero character. Personally, I think the Sandman would be a great villain, but I that's just me. I get like that with anything.
Well, I'm actually about to raise that point because quite a lot of, you've got one of the things which I think could be quite interesting is if since the villain is basically the bogeyman, if he goes on about sort of, I think what could be quite interesting because quite a lot of these fairy tale heroes like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, they've all had fairly dark pasts originally. Yeah. And I think it'd be quite interesting if the bogeyman actually sort of starts playing on those sort of things and saying, well, you used to be fitted. You used to spread
like American Gods for kids.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? You're the ones who did it originally, or something like that. I don't know. That's what I think could be quite interesting for the movie, but of course, yeah, we're just a bunch of people on the internet. What do we know? Anyway, so
I also have my own little annoyance about the actual film. It's not the film, just the concept of any folklore story. Okay, how to explain this? Like every Santa Claus movie, it always goes on about the fact we live on belief. Children need to believe.
Yeah.
And that always annoyed the hell out of me because if Santa Claus exists, if the Tooth Fairy exists, and all that, and it's not belief, it's actual fact. You do exist. How I kind of wrap my head around this fact how adults can be oblivious to this. If your children keep receiving like Christmas presents, tons of Christmas presents under the tree every year, you cannot just say there's no such thing as Santa. The presents have to come from somewhere. Does every parent on the planet just brush it off saying, oh, it must be the grandparents or uncle and aunt who got these presents? No, they came from Santa's workshop. You can't not deny this.
Did your parents never have the talk with you?
Someone I know once got a Christmas present from Rock from Pokemon.
But again, that annoys me in every single story when it says we live on belief. No, if you're in the real world, you're there actual fact, and parents can't turn a blank eye to this. They just can't unless they're really that stubborn about it.
Well, it's the same way people are all the stuff in Hellboy's managed to be swept under the rug because the fact everybody thinks it's fairy tales.
Yes, but that's the thing. They see this stuff and it's like posted on YouTube and they're like, oh, well, that's just one thing. No, this is happening to every single household on the planet. If magical presents are appearing under the tree every single night or every single year, then you all kind of just come together and brush it off. The presents have to have come from somewhere. You can't just turn around saying, oh, it probably came from some other relative. No, then what happens when you ring up said relative? Are they just in on the act saying, oh, yeah, I forgot to get the kids a present. Yeah, that one was totally from me. It doesn't make any sense.
Have you ever read American Gods, Charles?
No.
Oh, it's very good. It plays on that whole idea of gods in the real world and needing belief to exist while them still being real people. It's an excellent book.
I think that would actually be... I really enjoyed reading it, actually. So, I think we need to introduce Charles to American Gods.
But yes,
Anyway.
sorry about that.
No, it's a fine sidetrack. We're built on sidetracks. So everyone's looking forward. So everyone's looking forward to this movie then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
As long as it doesn't have a disappointing ending, in which everything is saved by the magic of childhood innocence.
Oh dear.
Or if
Okay,
Jack
you
Frost
just-
is just a git.
You just want to see Santa Claus punch the bogeyman in the face.
Yes,
That'd be awesome! The man has nice and naughty tattooed onto his arms. What's not to love?
basically, I do. I want American gods for kids, with less, goddesses who eat people with their vaginas. But
Yes, that's a thing in American Gods. That might shock. Yeah, but anyway, I do like the idea of So that's going to be a good movie then. Hopefully.
it looks very good anyway. At the very least, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I do really like some of the creative sort of aspects of it, like the Sandman being able to sort of basically create a sort of biplane out of his sand and stuff like that. I think that's a very sort of creative little bit of work, and the whole sort of design of the Tooth Fairy being basically a hummingbird.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Instead of a twinkly little Victorian fairy, there's a lot more wildness about her, which I like a lot, while still being quite small and sweet.
And then so we've done the trailer news. So should we move on to some of the series? Barbie Life in the Dream House.
Life in the dream house. Oh yeah, life in the dream house.
I think we have a fan
Life
here,
in the
ladies and
dream
gentlemen.
house. It's amazing.
So who wants to go first?
I like it.
Any further explanations beyond you like it, Alice?
It's just okay. I did like Barbies as a child. I clothes and I sent them off on adventures, and I had horses, which for some reason I usually decided that they'd climb down mountainsides, which was the stairs, which is when I just punt them off the stairs and watch them roll down and see if she managed to stay on her horse. If she did, then she won. If she didn't, then she failed the obstacle course somehow. But I have problems with the Barbie franchise, as I think the great majority of thinking people do.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Barbie Life in the Dream House, I really enjoy it because it's just funny. It has far more in common with the Toy Story version of Barbie than the Barbie film versions of Barbie, in which she's oh so pretty and perfect. This Barbie is kind of a ditz, but not in a but not in a stupid way. It's very clever in the way it's constructed the characters. In that, there's Ken, the Barbie's boyfriend, who kind of struggles between metrosexuality and the masculinity he thinks he's supposed to have, and Barbie, who's so perfect it's ridiculous. But it's a really good cartoon. I'm glad that there is this wave of female cartoons that are actually good.
Mm.
And I find it amazing that the two harbingers of this were My Little Pony and Barbie. Big franchises not exactly known for the high quality of their characterization. But yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay, fair enough. Who wants to go next on it?
I will.
Okay, Tom.
Generally, I dislike pretty much anything Barbie-esque, just on principle.
You have balls. That's the principle.
Yeah. Hang on.
No, that's not a good excuse.
Let me justify. Okay. I mean, the episode I saw was amusing at times. I enjoyed like the lampooning of it, but I'm still not convinced because you've got the problem of if the series goes on for a while, there's only so many jokes that the general public would get, and they'll have to keep repeating them over and over again, which will get very, very dull after a while. But if they go for more complicated jokes, the problem with that is that only the people who like Barbie will get them. and this is a series that's lampooning Barbie, so that's not the audience they'll be getting.
I wouldn't say it's lampooning. It's like it's an affectionate parody kind of thing. Same as Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. You can tell the people who make it actually like the subject matter. It's just that they are also having a heck of a lot of fun pointing out the silliness within that subject matter.
Okay.
It's run for 16 episodes so far, and so far it's managed to. And there are some episodes that are weaker than others, but overall, I still think it's a good show. I'm not sure how long it's going to go on for. I agree with Tom that if it goes on for way too long, it'll get kind of rubbish, possibly. But no, as it is, as it stands, I really like it.
Okay. Charles, you're...
I hate this show in the fact I can't seem to find anything wrong with it. What it does well. I was a Barbie girl too growing up. My mum got me Barbie's dream house. I got the little toy car. I got Barbie. I got cousin, niece, daughter, sister.
I never
whatever.
got the dream house.
Oh, it was wonderful. No,
Had a
it wasn't.
camper
No, it wasn't. It's all shame. Sorry. Yes, I played with Barbie. I mean, I didn't do the whole actual girly thing they expect you to do. I did my own little things that were completely weird and mental because I made Barbie kind of the essence of me. So we went on weird adventures together. And since my brother had an action man at the time, we pretended they were spies and they would go out and try to stop whoever the big bad was action figure we could get at the time. And it was weird. But yes.
Sorry.
Do continue.
Also, this is kind of an inherent problem with Barbie in that every girl you talk to about their Barbie and their childhood games always begin with, "Oh, I didn't do the girly thing with them." It's like, well, then, if none of the girls playing on it did the girly thing, then who did? Who are they basing this marketing on?
I assume it's sort of I assume it's sort of. Sorry.
When I played with Barbie, it was, she went on horse adventures, and my sister and I played together, and we had a family thing planned out, and Shelley usually ended up lost in a well or something like that. It was, soap opera family drama, except without the affairs, because I was like 6 and had no concept of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's EastEnders in doll form.
Yes. But it's no little girl I've ever, or, young woman who used to be a little girl, or young man who used to be a little girl, ever, when playing with Barbie, say that they played with Barbie the way Mattel intended them to play with Barbie. So it's like, okay, why do they keep marketing her like this then?
I don't know.
The original, I'm sorry I'm going off on a rant here, it's femophobia and stuff like that
Part
is kind of
part of me thinks that was done for the parents as well, because the fact then they'd sort of have their perfect little girl playing as a perfect ordinary little girl, as they thought it would be. And so that's the reason why they'd buy Barbies for the little girls, because of the fact then...
Yes, I never once asked my parents to buy me this specific Barbie with this specific outfit or whatever accessory. It was always something they bought me. I never once questioned it. The moment I had the toy, I would play with it. There were rare occasions, if I had my other girlfriends around, we would try and play house like they wanted us to, but we normally just did whatever the hell we wanted. I had Barbie in space at one point.
There was an astronaut Barbie. Barbie was supposed to go into space. But it's like the core idea of Barbie is supposed to be that she is the girl who can do anything. She is the ultimate wish fulfillment for girls, and can look fabulous while doing so.
In that case, she succeeded.
Yeah, but it's kind of warped over time to, she looks amazing, and can do stuff, I guess. I mean, she's been president twice. She's been an astronaut and a doctor, and, all she's ever reduced to is her shoes. Yes, and that says way more about our society than I think than bleh.
Words.
Basically, it doesn't say anything good about the society we live in and its idea of its idea of femininity.
Anyway,
Yes. Going back to the actual show itself, though, it clearly knows its audience and it's playing towards that. But for newcomers, new little girls who, by this point, I still don't think little girls modern day and age actually play Barbie. I think they were actually into the whole Bratz thing. But yes, it knows its audience, it's playing it well, and the jokes, I get every single reference, and I am laughing at it, even if I don't want to, because I got rid of all my stuff, I threw it away, I burnt it, and I closed that door in my life forever. Now it's slowly opening again.
You're in pain, Charles, aren't you?
Yes.
As for my
It's a good show.
Such a good show.
As for my opinion, again, like Tom, I'm coming in it with fresh eyes, but I'm also sort of thinking about it from the point of view of, okay, sort of what kind of jokes will I be able to get as sort of somebody who didn't play with Barbie. I was mainly a Lego man myself, but
Lego.
But with it, I thought it was relatively, at the moment I thought it was relatively harmless. It sort of had some very funny lines, very sort of some quite funny escapades and so on and so forth. It felt sort of, it didn't feel toothless in a way. It had some quite good, it had some sort of quite funny poking at sort of Barbie's illustrious career as all this stuff, and yet still somehow being in this fashionable beach house, and also quite a bit of an undercurrent of sort of stereotypical female sitcoms as well. Sort of basically sort of poking fun at the whole idea of trying to get the guy and so on and so forth, and trying to impress the guy and all that. Particularly that one at the beach as well, when I was sort of trying to do that contest with, oh god, don't remember Mikkel's name. Mikkel, yeah, and sort of again, sort of not sort of very distinctive female characters, and sort of very sort of well-rounded in that way. But yeah, I think at the moment it's harmless. And I think one of the reasons why I like it is because of the fact it keeps it short. It's just a burst of girliness, so to speak. You've got about...
Yes, I definitely agree. The 3 minute episodes work very much in its favour.
Mm. So it's like...
That's right. Sorry.
It's like if it with for example, if we compare it to the other big sort of girl show, My Little Pony, that works as sort of 20 minute episodes because of the fact it's got sort of a much more sort of in-depth fantasy world. Whilst
My Little Pony Friendship with Magic has more substance. You've got a larger cast of characters, you've got a whole world they can play in. Well, the Barbie world is the world you play in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm sorry, I just have a lot of thoughts about this series.
No, that's fine. That's fine. More thoughts, the better. Anyway, so that's Barbie Life in the Dream House then. Shall we move on to the final subject? Motorcity, which is what how many episodes have each of you watched that? Because then I can know how much of spoilers I should go into.
I've watched 10 to 11
Just
episodes. I've watched the ones I can at the moment.
Okay. Tom?
I've seen episode 1.
Okay. All right. Tom?
Only the first one so far.
All right, cool.
Only the first one.
Okay. So, again, who wants to go first in discussing it?
I think I should probably go first since I've seen more episodes than them.
As long as there's no spoilers.
Okay, I won't give away spoilers or anything like that, but okay, if you had to describe this show, it's fast and colourful. You got the upper world where it's white, straight lines, robots do everything for them, and it's not really that interesting or anything. Then you get the lower world where it's fast, it's full of bright colours, there's graffiti everywhere, and the backgrounds look wonderful if everyone would start moving for like 10 seconds for you to enjoy it. But yes, it definitely looks nice and everything, and I like the characters. The characters, at first I didn't really think too highly of them, but they definitely did grow on you, and they all look nice. They're all nice people in general, and they got funny moments, and the villain's voiced by what was it, Mark Hillman?
It's Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Yes.
You forget the name of the Mark Hamill. You called him Mark Hellman.
Sorry, I'm not really good at details like you people are.
Mark Hellman,
Skywalker.
Mark Hellman in Revenge of the Mayonnaise. Oh dear. Yes. Anyways.
I don't see why people go to great detail to know who voice actors and stuff like that is. I just want the character just for who they are. I don't really care who plays them.
Okay. But yeah. Is there anybody who wants to go? So your general thoughts of the series? Well, quite good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a few issues with it, but I guess I can wait for later debates.
So who wants to go next?
Yeah, why not? It's like my general thought of it. I've only seen the one episode. Overall, I didn't think. I mean, it's good for what it is, but it doesn't seem to add much to the genre at all. It fits in with what's already there. It doesn't seem to add a lot to anything. I enjoy the music on it. It's got some good moments of humour in it, and I like the whole concept you're talking about of the again that there are lots of other series that do that sort of thing already. So overall, it's decent, but it's not anything new.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with Tom on this. It just struck me as being really average. Especially the animation. The animation is incredible. I'm assuming it's CG.
No, it's mostly 2D animated. It's mostly 2D animated for most.
Oh no, I know, but I assumed it was 2D animation done digitally.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, I assumed that, but it had lovely flow and looked wonderful. Though I agree with Charles, I would have enjoyed it if they'd stopped moving so I could appreciate the animation for a bit. But yeah, I found it really average. To be honest, the villain is what the heck. Just is so villainous and ridiculous and waha, I'm going to kill all these people. It's like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
couldn't he have more depth? I mean, he just outright says he's going to slaughter these people in the Undercity. Well, if he's the one who owns this world, why doesn't he say that with any sort of subtlety or style? I mean, I understand if he's just, saying, waha, I'm going to kill you to the people in Motorcity, but why does he then act in the exact same way to the people of the upper city, who he's supposed to be like a respectful, dignified leader of?
Well, yeah, I get you with that. I think it is a little bit rough in the first sort of couple of episodes, but I will admit, in some areas it gets better, in other areas it sort of remains the same. But there are areas definitely it does get better.
Does the voice acting improve? Because I admit one of the things that distracted me in the first episode was that voice acting wasn't very good. They were really boring voices. There was, a heroic voice for the protagonist, a whiny voice for the best friend, which grated on my nerves.
Oh,
the black dude had a black dude voice, and the strong dude had a strong dude voice, and the girl was a girl.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly improve in that department though. So yeah, you might be disappointed. It has to be said though that it sort of does get better a little bit later on when they start introducing more villains and sort of different members of the city. Like for example, there's this one character called the Duke of Detroit who is awesome. He's basically, think of him as a sort of he looks like Kid Rock, but basically think of him as if he had all the money in the world and really loved his limos. And sort of
one who's been described as sex swap for Nicki Minaj. There's one villain who Tumblr calls sex switch Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure which one that is.
Is that definitely areas the show could improve on. There were areas I liked. The show had to take a few episodes for me to really care what was going on. But one if I had to pick one major iffy I have with the actual show, it's pacing.
Mm.
Because it tries to do so much at one time, it's unbelievable. I actually have a list of examples of things that bugged me when it turned to graduation of episodes. Like, I believe the one I told you earlier, Joe, was the introducing of Julie's friend to the lower world, where she shows up there for no apparent reason.
Claire,
And
you mean?
yes,
Yeah.
Claire. And the only reason she's there is so Chuck can have a girl to gawk at and get separated from Mike when he goes off by himself and gets stranded out in the middle of a blizzard. And I didn't know Julie was in on the whole cover thing with Claire was in on the whole cover thing with Julie. It's never really brought up again, which also led me to another thing saying, okay, if the upper world is so oppressive, if it's such a bad place to live, everyone's running down to the lower level, why is it she kind of seems to wait to get back home? Because apparently, besides the fact Mike is always telling us it's a bad place to live, we don't really see anyone's opinion on it other than the fact, yeah, scientist dudes don't like it because the guy's making lethal nuclear bomb weapons, and it's like, well, she clearly loves it up there, so it's clearly not as bad as he makes it out to be.
Mm. I kind of want a twist of sort of Mike continues to sort of fight this whole sort of revolution thing, and then when he finally gets rid of Kane, the whole city just collapses in on itself.
Yes, I had another list of things here. Yes, another one was when Mike goes off into the blizzard thing and gets separated from the others. Nowhere early on in the episode do we see Texas and what's his name?
Dutch?
Yes, Dutch and those two. At no point do we see them arguing early on that episode. They're not getting on each other's nerves. They're not poking at each other to get underneath the other's skin. But the moment Mike disappears from the act and they're trying to come up with ideas of how to locate him and who should do what, they're down each other's throats, and they're never like this in any other episode. It's like the other one literally punched their best friend in the face. They are going ballistic at each other, and none of them's provoked the other person. It's just there for tension.
Mm.
Another one is when the numbered men in black suits guys, they have no introduction. Mike clearly knows them. He does business with them, and they show up every now and then, but they're given no introduction. And that at that point, I feel like I must have skipped an episode because I'm like, who are these guys? Clearly, they do business with these guys or something, but no actual introduction, no episode devoted to them.
Mm.
And another major one was when they rescue the scientist. The old man at no point had any sort of flashback to say, oh, I knew this person back in the upper world and he completely betrayed me. He did this stuff and when I walked. So the episode when they rescue a scientist who has a weapon that could potentially destroy their city, and at no point early on in the episode does Jacob, the old man, turn around and at any point have a flashback or any indication that he worked with a scientist that betrayed him and now he hates him. Then out of nowhere they rescue the guy, they bring him down, and he goes after the guy like he intends to kill him. It's like, you betrayed me, how could you bring him down here? If I knew it was him, I would have told you to leave him. And it's like, hello, is there history behind this? No, I just hate him. Then, of course, once the guy proves himself to be on the level, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, we can be best friends again. Then it's like, okay, we'll stay, I'll help you out in your workshop. Yay! Then you never see him again in any other episode, he just vanished.
Mm.
So yeah, I like everything, but pacing of episodes and continuity, that could be improved on.
Yeah. I generally like this series, mainly because of the fact I sort of enjoy the whole aspect of it being sort of fast cars and sort of epic, sort of this sort of futuristic storyline and so on and so forth. But yeah, I do see everybody's points, and I do agree it is very sort of flat and very sort of odd with pacing and so on and so forth.
And you don't want my opinion on the physics of their cars.
By this point, everybody's sort of like, yeah, the physics of these cars, no, they're not going to work.
No, there's a reason a tank does not go as fast as a fighter jet. You can have speed or cannons. You can't have both.
Going up vertical walls doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Jak ta sama can do it.
Actually, one of the things which is quite interesting when you look at the guys, sort of the animation studio's track record, most of these guys worked on a little series called Megas XLR, which, yes, we have two people who know the series.
You love giant robots.
Yes. For those who don't, basically think of it as the Western equivalent of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and with Megas XLR, it was sort of followed all these it followed this Jersey guy named Coop, who he had flaws to him. He was this big fat sort of white geek and so on and so forth, and he was very flawed, very very well rounded. And at the moment with the main characters, they don't feel sort of very in depth at the moment in this series. I think they're sort of very much lacking in depth, and it's sort of like, yeah, we can already see the character arcs building, and sort of, yeah, I just feel a little bit like, compared to their previous work and compared to what they did compared to what they did previously, it's kind of like, yeah, this isn't as good in that point of view. But in terms of if you're an animation sort of somebody really likes animation, then yeah, go for it. You'll absolutely love this. But apart from that, yeah, not particularly.
Yes, and when Motorcity goes to the whole kingdom of mushrooms or the plant people, that was gorgeous to look at. That was a beautiful episode.
Yeah, and at that point, Charles dropped acid. Yeah. Okay, so we have. I think that's everything we might want to talk about. Any other business, anybody? Alice, did you want to say, bring up any?
Yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, in our last episode, which was the Manchester Expo special, we talked about a promotion for the film Paranorman. And since then, and it was just like initial impressions of the film and so on. But now I've actually found out a bit more about it. I'm actually a little more interested in this film now. Because, for one, it's animated by the same studio that animated Coraline. It's not CG, it is claymation, which I didn't know. I assumed it was CG from the things I'd seen. But no, it's claymation. They've actually done, like, smear ghost claymation, which is super impressive. Also, they're doing this really lovely marketing thing, which is they're sending little coffins out with some of the zombies that they used in the film, and they're burying them in these little coffins and sending them out to the weird heroes, they're calling them. People like Neil Gaiman and Jonathan Coulton and Felicia Day and Kate Beaton. People who have in some way contributed to the nerd community. People who were, the weird kids at school and whose works now bring comfort to the current weird kids at the school. I actually find that really sweet. It makes me feel a bit more hopeful about the film. I mean, it probably will have the stereotypical plot Charles mentioned last episode, which is the, weird child, and then something goes wrong, and then weird child fixes it, and suddenly everyone loves weird child. And that plot isn't inherently bad. It can be executed in really good ways. So, yeah.
But I've got 2 points which I want to raise. That firstly, are they sending it out to? Are they sending these stuff out to either Rob Zombie or Neil Patrick Harris? Because of the fact those were sort of, Rob Zombie's gone on record as saying he was the weird kid at school, and Neil Patrick Harris, of course, is
Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They've not posted a list of who they've sent these out to. I think there are 64 of these zombies that have been posted, and they only revealed and they're sending them out in waves, and they only reveal who received one once that person has received it and posted on their blog or their Twitter or whatever, saying, "Hey, I got this today." And then the Paranorman people write on their blog saying, hey, this person received this because they have contributed in this way, and so we thought they deserved recognition with one of our zombies.
Okay.
Like, Neil Gaiman's post about it is absolutely adorable.
Second of all, are the zombies personalised? So, like, Neil Gaiman gets one which is dressed up as Dream, for example.
Unfortunately, no.
No.
They are given zombies from the films that, like, go with their personalities, and that Kate Beaton got a zombie of a bookish little girl. But I'm not sure. But they're not like given little wigs or special accessories for the person they're being sent to, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Tom, is there anything you want to bring up? Any other business?
No, not particularly.
Okay, cool. Charles?
I guess you and I kind of want to talk about the latest episodes of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Let's do a quick rundown so that we're able to sort of.
You sound so enthusiastic.
It hurts.
This is sort of for new viewers. This is sort of somewhat of a personal crusade on Charles' part, continuing to watch a series she very much despises.
I'm dedicated to this show. What can I say?
Mm.
Ultimate Spider-Man. It's not a good show, but it's trying to improve. It is improving, but I still don't like it.
Oh.
Okay, Strange was a cute episode, but I never really understood Peter Parker's reluctance to believe in the magic of Doctor Strange and Iron Fist, because it's like, in the past he's seen characters with actual magic. He talked to a god that was turned into a frog, and he does not believe in magic now. He takes up half the episode getting this point across, and it's like, well, you didn't in the last episode. But seeing Doctor Strange in a typical magician's tux and rabbit and cards and top hat, that was effing cute. I loved it.
And
It sounds much better than his usual outfit.
Yes.
The other two episodes then,
Right.
the same.
Yes, they start to get a bit more creative. If they're not going to develop the team as a whole, we'll do it with individual characters. Number one is when Luke Cage and him have to come up with a science fair project, and it's like,
Oh dear.
okay. But it goes back to the whole steps of Peter Parker keeps forgetting date, and it's like, yeah, he completely forgets about the fair, and he doesn't realize it's tomorrow. But he does the most unrealistic thing imaginable that Peter Parker would do. He steals Dr. Connor's weird project thing in hoping of winning the science fair, and it's like, Peter Parker, even if he really did not have a project whatsoever, he would never do that. He would face responsibility, he was lazy, and just accept the fail grades.
Yeah.
And the entire episode is wasted, because if you introduce Juggernaut into the episode and you make him a side villain, shame on you.
And then, the third episode was... I barely remember it, if I'm honest.
Goes back to the whole Nick Fury, you trust picture. We have Zodiac and Melodious Scorpio, and they've attacked S.H.I.E.L.D., and Spider-Man and Nick Fury are still at each other's throats, and they're learning to work together on this one. And it goes back to the end of the episode where something weird happens. It sheds a bit more light on Nick Fury's past. But again, Peter Parker has complete confidence that Nick Fury is a good guy, so he doesn't question it.
Mm.
And there's a whole lot of jokes about a label maker, and it's lame.
One of the things which I actually thought was quite interesting when we were with the Strange episode, because of the fact the only two characters which actually had, because it's one of the classic things where they sort of trap people in their worst nightmares.
Mm.
The only two which actually had sort of decent sort of introspective moments was Luke Cage and Danny Rand, because Danny Rand's introspection was I worthy of this power, and so on and so forth. And Luke Cage, his worst nightmare was not being able to hold up a building to save innocent people.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing I didn't bring up earlier. This was a terrible episode for Iron Fist, and it could have been such a good one, because at no other point to this incident has Iron Fist ever turned around and said to himself, I wonder if I was worthy of the power that was given to me. And this could have easily been solved in like the beginning of the episode. There was like a mini fight with a side villain, and Iron Fist completely loses it. He doesn't do as well as he would, and he looks at his hand, and you see a quizzical look on his face. That would have sold the episode for me, but no, we go straight into his dream, and he out of nowhere just says to himself, "Was I worthy of this power?" And it's like, I'm guessing you are, since you use it fine and you didn't ask this question at any point prior. So yeah, that one scene would have saved the episode for me.
Fair enough.
But I do like what they did with Peter Parker and the fact he's not moping about the fact of Uncle Ben. He actually turns around and says, "I live with it every day of my life, and you can't use this nightmare against me." That was a good scene.
So yes, I think, and with that, I think it's the end of the show. So it's good night from me, and it's good night from everybody else here. And so, yes, we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.